Long distance relationship is hard and challenging. I think the biggest factor why we survived is that because we communicated with each other every single day. Even with the 2 hour difference and challenging internet connection, it did not stop us from getting in touch with each other on a daily basis. Sometimes it is weird, especially in winter times in Australia, that at 8 p.m. there in Queensland, he is already saying goodnight. That was 6 p.m. in the Philippines, and I just got home from work by that time. He kept saying it was cold over there, and I, on the other hand, was still catching my breath because of the hot weather and feeling irritated because of the traffic I just went through. One of the hardest parts during those times was when I had to stay in the apartment where they had lived. And they were still renting that time because most of their stuffs are still there. The apartment was near my work, so I had to stay there. Imagine being alone in a place full of his memories. The very place where you spent many times happy together. The only difference was, during that time, he's no longer there. Sometimes unbearable, but life must go on. Though it was hard for both of us being physically separated, it was so painful for me being the one left behind and him the one living. Because I have to deal with the same reality that we had together. I stayed in the very place where we were always together. I go to the same shops where we went together, and more. I am in the same situation. Only problem was that, actually, the biggest problem was that he is missing in that moment. And there wasn't any possible peace to fill that gap, to make it feel like whole again. I wish it was that easy, and I wish I can go back to that time to tell myself everything will gonna be alright. I remember after a year, his mom and his 2 sisters visited the Philippines. That moment, I was both happy and sad. Happy that they visited, and I felt very disappointed and sad because the very person I wanted to see is not with them. Funny we never ran out of things to talk about on those total of 6 years apart. I am glad he is smart and can make the conversation going on and on. We avoided talking about ourselves because it shifts the tone. It stirs up our emotions and sadness takes over. We just do casual conversation as if we are physically together. And he is so witty, and so it was always an interesting talk. But we do talk about future and being together, of course. We were lucky because technology was already good when we had our long-distance relationship. It was a blessing in disguise as well that when we were apart, we were able to grow up and mature in our own ways without suffocating each other. Being really good friends and already spent 3 years as boyfriends and girlfriends before the long-distance relationship period helped us a lot. To those who are in a long-distance relationship right now, keep going and keep the love burning, and everything will gonna be alright. It is hard, and all the sacrifices will be worth it at the end of the day. To those who survived a long-distance relationship, congrats. We fought and we won a hard battle.